What's up, YouTube? Redline Gary here. Today, with the season winding down, I wanted to come at you with a couple of interesting topics. My thoughts on asphalt, local circle track racing. As many of you know, dirt far exceeds asphalt in the amount of cars and attendance that is, rightfully so. There's a lot more sponsors and a lot more other things. But here's a few of my thoughts on how we can make circle track asphalt racing better. So to understand this, we need to look at two major problems. One, no fans. Two, no cars. Both equal zero money. If you don't have the cars, the people aren't paying the pit passes. You don't have the fans, they're not paying attendance fees. The track has no money. Also, the track can't sell concessions because there's not that many people, so they're losing money on that. So this brings up another issue. Races are too long. Okay? I know drivers love to run laps and everything else just like the next guy. When you get into the higher end classes, stuff gets expensive. With the tire shortages and things like that, and tracks not willing to pay out that much for a race, that presents a huge problem. You're making a lot of these races 50, 60, 100 laps, and the fans, are they going to sit through it? Okay? Especially when you have 5 races of different classes all scheduled with those big races in one night. Now, to a serious race fan like myself, yeah, I'll sit through it. But the normal average day fair weather fan, no. In dirt, most of them start on time. They are done out the door by 10 o'clock at night. Something to learn from. Keep the program rolling. Shorten those races. If there's going to be 4 or 5 classes, have 4 or 5 big races a year. Okay? Much easier to get sponsors for those 4 or 5 big races and have a big payout versus trying to get sponsors to have, payout during the entire 26 weeks that you're racing. Just a thought. Also with that, okay, you got to at least cover some tow money, fuel for the cars, or at least a tire in your payout. Okay, if you're requiring that I spend $125, $130 on a tire per race, okay, I'm going to go through 8, 12 gallons of fuel. Need a little bit of take-home money to at least break even on that. I don't see where a late model, where the track is paying $1,200 for a feature. You've got 18, 19 car field. Why is that race only $1,200 to win? You got to do a little something. Obviously, that comes with sponsors too, so, you might want to look into other avenues as sponsors and things. It can only help. So this brings me to one of the most irritating things as a fan, not just for being a pit guy, okay, but literally as a fan. I've been a fan of racing ever since like 3 years old. One of the biggest things that annoyed me at local tracks, and it still does today, it's a huge pet peeve. The track crew is slower than molasses. This isn't your local freeway where you got to call, the popo and everything, get an insurance quote, take all your little pictures, wait 3 hours, and then back up traffic to God knows where. Hey, this is a racetrack. Hook 'em and book 'em. Get 'em out. Get on with the racing. If you're a track crew, and this is a huge point, wrecks happen, okay? It's racing. We know. But if the majority of your time at the track is spent under caution or cleaning up, you need to do some serious self-evaluation and get people in there that can get it done quick. There should be more green flag racing than there are cautions and things like that. What else? Off the track attractions. You're not bringing fans in. What's the point? Okay? Drivers only have X amount of fans that they will get at a local level. Okay? Usually family members, some friends. That's about it. Okay? You multiply that by however many drivers can actually get their, entourage, as it will, to the track on a weekly basis. You're going to find out that it's not that many people. You might be lucky to get 2, 3, 400. That'd be a good night, right? But what if you can make 2 or 3,000? There is where the money is. And how do you do that? Obviously, a little bit of off the track, attractions. By that I mean like a kid's play area, not just a dirt hole. A little bit of playground equipment. Okay? Vendors. Okay? I know at a lot of dirt tracks, they have a bunch of vendors. They also serve alcohol and things like that, but, nevertheless, a lot of tracks don't. I'm here nor there on that issue, but, you got to look at what the fans want, what the crowd wants. Okay? What works best for your area? Family activities. If I want to sit down and eat, is there places to sit down and eat that if I got to the track a little early and I don't want to go to the seats, the bleachers, is there a place that I could sit down and grab a little bite to eat, and relax a little bit? Those little things make a huge difference. Also, a couple other things that come up. Bathrooms and concession lines. Nothing will make people more mad than if they're waiting in line and they miss a race. Or they miss an accident because they're stuck in a line where they can't efficiently move. If this is the case, at your local track, you need to be voicing it. Okay? Stuff can be done. There are tracks out there that boom lines with concessions. They might have stuff pre-made where people just, grab and right to the line. Boom, 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 down the road. Whatever works to make the lines move, the more times that a person can sit in the seat, the more apt they are to spend money at the concessions. And they're actually going to, sit and go to the races because they know that, okay, hey, look, if I do have to go and 1, 2, or, hit a concession, I can easily do that. Even if it's just a drink concession that needs to be a little separate, accommodate. It's not going to hurt anything. It's only going to improve. Bathrooms, you might run into a major issue. There's always going to be lines. But the more that you can dwindle that, even if it's getting porta-johns and stuff like that, make it work. These are things as avid fans that make or break a track experience. So, one other thing as a fan, program guides. Okay? I'd like to know the names of the drivers, their sponsors, a picture of their car, because I might not be able to hear when they're on the track, because let's face it, half of the intercoms you can never hear, and it sounds like something from like the old Peanuts cartoon. Wah, 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 Zoom. Okay? Having a program is utmost important. We're in the 21st century. There's no reason why these things can't be digital. Okay? Along with that, we're also in the 21st century. At least have some decent Wi-Fi. Okay? Like an internet hotspot or something that somebody, they can log in as a guest. We can get on Speed Hive, MyLapse, or what, download the guide. I'll gladly pay a fee to download a guide that I can keep. I can print it off if I want or whatever. I mean, I just want to have an experience as a fan. I remember as a kid we had the paper brochures that every week it would change, a who the drivers were leading in the points, or who was the previous last year's champion, and things of that sort. It was always exciting as a kid. You know, nowadays kids are different, obviously, but a digital format would not cost that much versus printing. Finally, fair pricing for attendance. If you shorten the duration of the races for normal races, there's no reason why, it should be $20 admission, maybe $10. If it's a big race, charge a little more. I understand trying to keep everything the same for simplicity and whatnot, but when the average everyday local race shouldn't be much money, especially if you're in a rural area where the average income isn't that great. Why are you charging an arm and a leg? You're not going to get people. Look at the way that the big boys and things do it to an extent. Big huge races, yeah, you're going to pay more. Why? They're big huge races. So obviously I would associate that with, okay, I'll pay my $40 as opposed to 10 or 15. But pit pass, I should be able to get, on a regular race. I pay 30 now. It'd be cool if it was 20. It'd be a lot easier to afford. But I understand that goes with drivers, okay? Now, I would say that if you are a driver, you have to pay the pit pass and the entry fee for the car. But if you're a mechanic or whatever that's not, in there, it should be lesser of a pit pass. Okay? That's just something that may help. Also, before I forget, concession food is important. It is a moneymaker, I understand. But if that food does not taste good, nobody's going to buy it. If it's overpriced, nobody's going to buy it. Okay, so if you walk through your track and you start seeing a lot of people bringing in food, that's a clear indicator something is wrong. Check it out. Because it may be that something's bad, or it may just be that, hey, we need to look at other options as far as trying to get food cheaper, or, maybe change it up to where, hey, this product could be used for other things and not just, like, for hamburgers, okay? If you're running in October, November, or even in like March, April, the colder months, use that hamburger meat for chili. Okay? Or like a pasta or something that's cheap. There's no reason why it can't be altered in such a way to accommodate other menu choices. It would stretch the dollar a lot further and potentially bring in more people. Because the better the food, the happier the person. The longer they're willing to sit, the more money they're willing to spend. And with that, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I am very curious. So with that, this is Red Line Gary. Keep it on the track.